We have talked about buying used product for building your computer and making it just a little bit cheaper so that you can fit some extra performance into your budget. But what about a bigger brain move and buying a whole computer used? Before we go on, don't forget to like the video if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some great merch. So before we get into this topic, I'm not saying that it's a good idea to do this. There are some certain drawbacks. For instance, the person that you're buying from could definitely be lying to you. And also, they could be trying to sell you something that is not a good product for your buck. So we're going to go to the two main ones and way you would do this at: Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Technically, we could also consider eBay or Mercari or things like that, but I want to keep it local as also an option that if this gets enough views, I'll look into buying one of these and getting even deeper into this mess. So we'll start with this one. Selling an HP Omen gaming computer. Specs are listed in pictures. Great, worked great. I'm sure it does. No issues. Just don't play anymore. We'll prove it works and works well upon purchase. Will include speakers, mouse, and keyboard. Monitors included for another $100 if wanted. Willing to negotiate on price. I'm gonna say no to the monitors, and $100 for both of those. If it's just the one monitor, sure, maybe. I doubt it's that good though. i7 9700, 16 gigabytes of RAM. It has a graphics card. What's the graphics card? Well, that's a stock cooler. It looks like he hasn't cleaned this. Hard to tell with a red picture and the glass still on there reflecting everything. Let's see if I can find this. A 1660 Ti is probably what that was. So it's a 1660 Ti in here. It's an okay price. I would want to make sure the computer still works pretty good. It looks like it does off the pictures here, but it's definitely going to need to be cleaned. Definitely probably needs a bit more looked into it. I'm going to bet, though, that you cannot upgrade this because I don't know if that motherboard allows upgradability. Because it looks like everything's fine. I just wish I could get a better picture of the insides, and he didn't really do that. I'd call this a pretty good post for a gaming computer. Price isn't horrible. For a similar priced... I mean, already looking at this, we're gonna blow past $800 if we go with a similar spec computer. And it's just 3 parts. Like, I'm at 793, and that's the 3 parts that are in that computer. All in all, I'd say this is a really good post. I say give it an A, especially considering they're gonna give you speakers with this. All right, gaming computer for $700, Fairborn. It is a laptop. It's an Intel GTX Nitro 5, Acer Nitro 5. That looks like it. He wants $700 for it. If it's the exact same one, which I'm doubting it is, I'm betting this is probably like an older computer. Probably did go for this price originally. I would have to know what is in this other than this being Intel and a graphics card in there. I'd need to know more. Otherwise, you're kind of failing. You need to give more detail. For the love of God, clean your stuff before taking pictures of it and clean your room. Whatever's going on there. D. Almost F. Ooh, this guy actually kind of knows what he's doing. Let's see here. Built a couple years ago, but recently built a new one. NVIDIA 1070 Ti Founders Edition. Hey, look at that card. That is a gorgeous Founders Edition card. Ryzen 7 3700. 16 gigs of G.Skill RAM. Okay, that's the red ones. B450F gaming motherboard from ASUS. 850 watt power supply. That is way overkill for this build, man. 280 millimeter NZXT AIO. And he has a Wi-Fi adapter. No hard drive. He's running at 3600. I don't think I can beat this. Let's take a look though. Oh boy. And he's using a 850 mil. Yeah, I'm gonna say this guy's pretty good. I would actually consider this to be A+. I would say if you're going to find a guy that's like this, you need to contact them and see if they're willing, if they meet, that if they're willing to allow you to test the computer before purchasing it. Because that is a big thing when it comes down to buying used computers. You need to make sure they work first. It's a very interesting place to leave the user guide, but it is at least helpful to know that you have it. That's got an optical bay. That's certainly dating this one. Let's see here. i7 4700K. Their Dominator Platinum DDR3. Oh boy. 760. 250 are best offer. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'd say if you're buying this, I wouldn't buy it to game on it. I don't know what loaded means. I wonder if he's talking about, loaded with Microsoft 2010, all manuals and possible extra hard drive. Yeah, if you're gonna buy this, you're gonna be buying it for a specific reason. For instance, the optical bay is something probably a lot of people will look at because there are some people that still need those, and it's hard to find computers that have a built-in 5¼ inch bay that can take an optical. I do know of a couple of t-shirt designers or things like that that still use computers like this. They would probably jump at this thing, and not a bad price. If anything, I'd say it probably needs updated, considering all the things that are in it. I mean, if this thing is the 700 series is 10 years old. I think almost 11 or 12 now. So this is this is at least 10 years old. You can probably get away with running it for anything but gaming now. Well, no, you could probably get away with gaming on lighter games. I wouldn't say AAA titles. I don't think it could play AAA titles at like ultra settings. It could probably do medium, maybe. It would definitely be on low, especially with a 760. Yeah, low. He gets an A+ for how he did the listing. I don't think I would have called it a gaming computer though, because I don't think it would do an amazing job of being a gaming computer anymore. It probably would have been fine though during COVID, but now I can get a computer relatively easily for a decent price. I mean, not for that much, at least not a good one. It's really hard to talk down these ones because these guys, at least the ones I'm seeing, have decent pricing for their stuff. I'm not having a lot of issues with their pricing. I am having issues with how clean their stuff is. So this one looks like it's been kept better than most others, especially better than the first one we saw. This guy at least cleaned his computer regularly. Oh, yay. This is another system builder one that's getting sent. So they're wanting $900. This includes their 144 hertz monitor of 1920 by 1080, RGB speakers, RGB keyboard, RGB gaming mouse, RGB headset, and PC gaming controller. Oh, wow. The motherboard has 4 stick slots, only 3 of the 4 work. What happened to the 4th one? He wants $900 for this. It's the iBuyPower Element Front. Okay. Case fans. i5 10400F. The iBuyPower liquid cooler, 16 gigabytes of RAM at 3000 speed, 2060, Asus Prime Z490, a 650 power supply. It's gold though, 256 data SSD, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. Premium sound on board. Ooh. And a network card. So, decent specs. I could use with better pictures. Don't get me wrong, I can tell all you have here, and it's okay. I am curious about why one RAM slot doesn't work. That is certainly curious. I don't know. How much does he want for this? 900. RAM slot's not working. You get a monitor, speakers, keyboard, gaming mouse, headset, and a gaming controller. Didn't read that one. One of the RAM slots aren't working, so I would say you need to change out that motherboard. iBuyPower does use standard parts from other manufacturers. I'd say it's a personal choice. I would say the fact that it's running a 650 watt with a 2060 is perfectly okay. I don't like the idea of getting a motherboard that has a broken slot in it. I would say as soon as you get it, and as long as you make sure it works, it looks like it does. But I would want to, again, test it before you buy it. I would say you definitely need to get a new motherboard right after this. So see if you can talk him down off the 900 a little bit, because you're going to have to buy a new motherboard. Honestly, though, for $900 for all this, it's okay. It's not a horrible deal. B+. I'm only taking off points mainly because of the pictures that he could have done more on, so I could see a bit more of this thing. And also because he's asking for a lot of cash, and even though there's a lot of parts here, the motherboard has a problem. There's a defect in the motherboard. That should take a bigger hit. I would say 800 is pretty good for this. One picture, and it has a cat. No bonus points for cats, but I like the cat. And there's an external hard drive. Clean your room. Oh, I see a VR set. Does that come with it? All right. Useless information. Most of that's kind of important. Windows 10 Pro. Don't need these. This. Don't need that. That's important. That's important. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Hey, there's important. An RX 55 XT. Useless information. Let's go. Does it say how much storage is in this damn thing? No? Cool. So he's running off a Ryzen 5 3600. He's running off of a RX 55 XT, 5500 XT. That'd be a bit of a difference there. Does 1080p, 16 gigs of RAM, custom gaming computer with LEDs and liquid cooling system, 1200 for computer from DNA Computers, with 400 Oculus Rift headset included. I'm already gonna say it, this is not going well. He didn't give off most of the information that you need. You know what CPU it has, you know what GPU it has, you know how much RAM it has. And that's after you decipher all the useless information in this. There is one picture showing off the headset and the computer. The liquid cooling is just an AIO, and I know what AIO that is. I've seen it. It's one of these, the Deepcool Captain from, well, Deepcool. I don't like their look, to be honest, though sometimes it does look good in some cases. I think it doesn't look good here. So at least know now what the AIO is. I would still not pay $1,200 for it. I do want to know what 700 is going on up here, but unless he's saying that he spent $1,200, which is useless information, by the way, and he wants 700, but he doesn't clarify that. So when that doesn't happen, I take worst case scenario, he wants 1,200 for it, to which I would say, F you. There is no information that I need here. I don't know what motherboard you're using. I don't know how much storage is in this. I know what graphics card and CPU you have. I don't know what RAM you're using. I know how much RAM you're using. And I had to look through to figure out what stupid ass cooler you were using. Don't get me wrong, the case you built in's great. Well, even you built in. DNA Computers built it for you. That's a local computer shop. He gets an F for useless information, not clearly stating how much he wants, and not giving full information, as well as not enough pictures. Pictures help. You need to have pictures set up for when you're posting these things so people know what to expect. If you don't, their opinion is you're trying to hide this from them. You're trying to make sure they cannot tell what all is going on, and they most likely will not buy from you. Let's go Facebook. We're only going to do about 5 because I'm not getting into that. That's the same computer from Craigslist, same name and everything. So we're just going to skip that one. That's a really nice computer. Thermaltake gaming computer, Ryzen 5 5600, 3060, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, water-cooled CPU, 7 fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there another picture? There is. He wants 1,300 for this. It's a little steep. Looks like it's a 700 watt power supply in there, which is okay for a 3060. It's a little on the lower side than my like. Thermaltake's RAM has always been very cool looking to me. It looks like it's been decently cable managed. I could use with a couple more pictures. Past that, I'm gonna say it's an okay one. 1,300 is a little pricey. I think for 1,300, you could build a similar system and call it a day. So, C. You barely pass. Okay. High-end gaming PC with 2060. Ryzen 7 3700. 240 gig SSD. Not really that high-end, is it? 4,200 megahertz RAM with 32 gigabytes. A gigabyte 450 motherboard. Some info is posted in pictures. Comes with both monitors. Monitor desk mount. Keyboard and mouse. The external speakers. External speakers pictured, and SCUF impact controller. How much do you want for this? 900? It's 2060. It's not really useful information. Wait. And there are 2 different monitors, and my big question is, can they run 1080p? It looks like they can. It's 2060, and it's a Ryzen 7 3700, so that's $700 right there, ish. We're gonna say 6. The SSD is a big killer. There's not that much there on the SSD. 32 gigs of RAM running at 4,200 megahertz is some baller RAM, and a gigabyte 450 board. My main reason for not liking this is that the SSD is just tiny, but you can always just add another SSD or something into this, depending on how many ports it has left open for that. I don't know what exact board he's using. I mean, can I figure it out? Not really. He kind of screwed me on this picture, if I could read that. That looks like a stock cooler, though. Yeah, that's the stock cooler. 900's about as high as I would go for this. I'd say try to get a little bit off and you'll be good. Oh, wow. Price is firm. $500. It's a mini computer with a Ryzen 5 2600. So this is a Nook. 2600 was only a laptop CPU, if I'm remembering correctly. G.Skill RAM at 3200 megahertz, terabyte of SSD, 580, 560 watt power supply, a Noctua fan, Noctua heatsink with a Be Quiet fan. Oh my God. I'm vaguely remembering this right. The 2600 was a laptop CPU, right? I'm wrong. That was a CPU. That was not. Okay. Why don't I remember it then? Oh well. $500 is pretty good. He gives a lot of pictures showing you the insides and how everything looks. Honestly, the nice thing about mini computers is you can kind of put it anywhere on your desk and it doesn't take up that much room, unlike this big hunk. I'm gonna call this a pretty good one. I'm gonna say A. Only reason it's not gonna get an A+ is just because I'm really confused on why you switched out the Noctua fan for a Be Quiet fan. They have Chromax. The Noctua has black fans. They're like $10 more. You probably spent that much just getting another fan. Oh, wow. Ryzen 7 first gen. 32 gigs of RAM. 3.5 terabits of storage. H100i liquid cooler with 3 RGB2 120 fans. He has a PC part picker list. Facebook is treating me right. So he's saying how much he spent on each of these. Why is there no listing for the power supply? He has an Elgato card. You're using a Quadro? How much did you spend on the Quadro, brother? He doesn't have it listed up on there. He's taking the Quadro with him. That makes sense. How much did you want for this? $300? Yeah, get this. A+. If I could give even higher, I would, because this is amazing. You could honestly run a lot of games on this and be fine. Used maybe a month, don't game on it at all, so I'm looking to sell. I paid $1,700 for it. I understand I'm taking a loss. Comes with 1440, 144 hertz gaming monitor, keyboard and mouse as well. Yeah, but what are the specs? NVIDIA 3060 Ti, 1 terabyte SSD. I'm assuming it's another terabyte SSD. 500. How many things of storage do you have on this, brother? What CPU are you using? By the way, 16 gigabytes of RAM. There it is. An i12 700. Oh, this is another one. A+. Jump on this. This is the kind of stuff that if you guys see, you need to jump on it. However, I would still say be careful. Who in the hell is Crua? This is the most off-brand name I've ever seen in my life. What kind of monitor panel are you using? VA panel. That makes sense. This is the kind of guy you also need to jump on if you see it. It gives you every bit of information that you need. Mind you, you have to look at the pictures, which I could have used without, but you can't really pick and choose here. You gotta take what you can get when it comes down to buying it online pre-used. If this is true, this is a really good steal. My only thing is, again, make sure you can see that it works before going further. Also, keep in mind, this is a 3060 Ti, the new i7, which means this RAM's DDR5, I think. I don't think it tells us. It doesn't tell us. I would assume DDR5, though, because that's what a lot of people went with when it came to the new Intel, just because everybody was curious. I'm more impressed this guy shelled out this kind of money for the new Intel and is selling it for this low. So I'd say jump on this now if you can. I hope this kind of helps everybody a little bit, because obviously there was a huge range of people that did pretty good, pretty bad, and okay when it came down to their listings for these computers. You're not going to get a lot of people that are going to do amazing. The ones that you do need to like double check. When you're getting used, you need to be careful. You can very easily get screwed. And I don't think any of you guys want to get screwed out of your hard-earned money. So play it safe, be careful, and double check everything. Especially making sure that the computer works somehow. Just either by going to their house, going to some place where you can plug it in and be sure. Doesn't matter. Just make sure it works. Past that, if it does what you need it to do, that's perfectly fine. Pay what price you need that you're willing to get the computer you want. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like down below if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some great merch. If you guys enjoyed this video, how about you go check out the 5 common PC building mistakes that I did. I think you guys will enjoy that. It'll also help a little bit if you were to buy some of these pre-built ones or used ones that these guys are selling, because some of these mistakes will come up on used computers. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and have a good day.